I was a doctor for 46 years. Internal medicine, Cleveland Clinic, then private practice in Shaker Heights. I diagnosed heart failure, caught early cancers, managed diabetes in hundreds of patients. I kept strangers alive. My wife died in the next room while I was reading a medical journal. And the 5 things that killed her are the same 5 things that are killing you right now. Her name was Ruth. We were married for 61 years. She died on April 3rd, 2021. She was 89 years old. That sounds like a long life. It wasn't, because Ruth didn't die at 89. Ruth started dying at 74. I watched it happen for 15 years. I had the medical knowledge to stop every single stage of it, and I did nothing, because she was my wife, not my patient. And that difference cost her everything. My name is Solomon. I'm 99 years old. I still see clearly. I still walk 2 miles every morning. I still cook my own meals. Ruth couldn't do any of those things by the end. And we lived in the same house, ate at the same table, slept in the same bed. The difference between us wasn't genetics. It was 5 choices. 5 things I did every day that she refused to do. 5 things I begged her to change. 5 conversations that always ended the same way. Solomon, stop doctoring me. I'm your wife, not your patient. She said that to me at least 1,000 times. And every time she said it, I backed off. Because I loved her. And because the one thing they don't teach you in medical school is how to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. The first thing that took Ruth was the chair. Ruth retired from teaching in 2006. She was 64. The first year she stayed active, gardened, walked the neighborhood, volunteered at the church library. By the second year, the garden went to weeds. The walks got shorter. By 2009, she was spending 9, 10 hours a day in that brown recliner in the living room. Television on, crossword in her lap, cup of tea on the side table. I told her what I'd seen in 40 years of practice. The patients who sat all day declined faster than the ones who smoked. I told her about the studies. Circulation slows, lymphatic system stalls, muscle wastes, inflammation rises. Every hour you sit past the 4th hour, your body ages faster than the clock. She'd say, "My knees hurt, Solomon." I'd say, "Your knees hurt because you're sitting." She'd say, "You're doing it again." End of conversation. Same script, 200 times. By 2012, she couldn't walk to the mailbox without stopping twice. I could walk to the park and back. Same house, same age range. She sat, I moved. That was the only difference. The second thing was sleep. Ruth was a light sleeper, always had been. But after retirement, it got worse. She'd go to bed at 11, wake at 1, watch television until 3, fall back asleep until 6. Broken sleep. 4, 5 interruptions a night. I told her what happens when you don't get consolidated deep sleep. Your brain cleans itself at night. There's a system, glymphatic they call it now, that flushes out metabolic waste during deep sleep. The proteins that cause cognitive decline, the inflammation markers, all of it gets cleared when you sleep 7, 8 hours straight. When you don't, it accumulates, night after night, year after year. By 2015, Ruth was forgetting small things. Where she put her glasses, what day the grandchildren were coming. She'd ask me the same question twice in an hour and not remember asking the first time. The fog started at 79. My patients who slept well didn't hit that fog until 88, 89. Ruth lost 10 years of clarity because she never fixed her sleep. I bought her blackout curtains. I moved the television out of the bedroom. I set a sleep schedule and wrote it on a card by her nightstand. She followed it for 1 week. Then the television came back. The third thing was loneliness. This one is hard to explain because we lived together. Ruth had people around her. She had me. She had the grandchildren on Sundays. But after her friend Dorothy passed in 2011, and then Margaret moved to Phoenix in 2013, Ruth stopped reaching out. She had no one to call on a Tuesday afternoon. No one who understood what it was like to be 78 and feel invisible. Loneliness is not about being alone. It's about having no one who sees you the way you need to be seen. I was her husband. I was not her friend. That's a different thing. Husbands solve problems. Friends witness them. Cortisol stays elevated in lonely people. Immune function drops. Chronic inflammation rises. I saw it in my practice for decades. Patients with strong social connections outlive patients with better lab results but no one to eat dinner with. Ruth's inflammation markers climbed every year after 2013. I knew exactly why. I couldn't be the solution because I was the wrong shape for the hole she was trying to fill. The fourth thing was food. Ruth grew up on white bread, margarine, orange juice, and skim milk. Her mother's kitchen, her comfort. After retirement, she went back to it. Toast and jam for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, pasta for dinner. All processed carbohydrates. No quality protein. No healthy fats. No vegetables worth counting. I changed my own diet in 1996. Cut the processed carbohydrates. Added olive oil, fish, leafy greens, eggs, nuts. My inflammation markers dropped in 3 months. My fasting glucose stabilized. I showed Ruth my lab results. She said, "Good for you, Solomon." She didn't change a thing. After 60, insulin sensitivity declines. The body can't process carbohydrates the way it could at 30. Every slice of white bread becomes a little more dangerous. Ruth's blood sugar crept up. Pre-diabetic by 2014. Full type 2 by 2017. I managed her medication. I wrote her meal plans. She followed them when I was watching. The minute I left the kitchen, the bread came back out. The fifth thing was worry. Ruth worried about everything. The grandchildren's grades, the neighbor's dog, whether the furnace would last another winter, whether I was driving too fast, whether the church would close. None of it was in her control. All of it was in her bloodstream. Chronic low-grade anxiety keeps cortisol elevated 24 hours a day. It's not dramatic. It doesn't look like a panic attack. It looks like a grandmother clutching her phone waiting for a call that never comes. It looks like someone checking the lock 3 times before bed. It grinds the body down from the inside, silently, relentlessly. I told her to let go of what she couldn't control. She told me to stop talking like a textbook. I watched Ruth for 15 years. Same house, same table, same bed. She sat while I walked. She slept in fragments while I slept through the night. She lost her friends while I kept mine. She ate bread while I ate fish. She worried while I let go. And she faded. Not dramatically, not like a heart attack or a stroke. She faded the way paint fades on a house. So slowly you don't see it until one day you look up and realize the color is gone. By 2019, Ruth needed a walker. By 2020, she needed help bathing. By January 2021, she didn't always recognize the grandchildren. She died on April 3rd, Saturday morning. I was in the study reading the New England Journal of Medicine. She was in the bedroom. The aide found her. Peaceful, they said. I don't know what peaceful means when someone spent 15 years losing pieces of themselves. 3 weeks after the funeral, I found her journal. Red leather cover. She kept it in the nightstand drawer under her reading glasses. I didn't know she kept a journal. 61 years of marriage, and I didn't know. The first entry was dated September 2009. Solomon told me to walk today. I know he's right. My knees hurt. I'll start Monday. There is no entry for Monday. October 2011. Dorothy is gone. I sat in the kitchen for an hour after the call. Solomon asked if I was all right. I said yes. I wasn't. I don't know who to tell anymore. March 2014. The doctor said pre-diabetic. Solomon looked at me like he already knew. He probably did. He always knows. I wish he'd stop knowing everything and just sit with me. June 2016. I forgot Sarah's birthday. I've never forgotten a grandchild's birthday. Something is wrong. I'm scared to tell Solomon because he'll have an explanation. I don't want an explanation. I want someone to be scared with me. That sentence. I've read it 500 times. I want someone to be scared with me. I was her doctor when she needed a friend. I had all the right answers and none of the right responses. The last entry was February 12th, 2021, 7 weeks before she died. Solomon is in the study again. I can hear him turning pages. I used to hate how much he read. Now I'm glad. It means he's still here. I hope he stays a long time after I go. He'll do fine. He does everything right. He always did. I just couldn't follow him. Not because I didn't believe him, because I was tired and scared and too proud to say so. Too proud to say so. I'm 99 years old. I do everything right. I walk 2 miles every morning. I sleep 7.5 hours. I eat clean. I stay connected. I manage my stress. And my wife died in the next room because I never learned the difference between being right and being present. If someone you love is making the same mistakes Ruth made, sitting too long, sleeping badly, losing their friends, eating poorly, worrying constantly, don't hand them a study. Don't give them a lecture. Don't be their doctor. Sit with them. Be scared with them. That might be the only medicine that works. If there's someone in your life right now who needs you to stop being right and start being there, write it down. Just write, I should have, and then the truth. That is all I got.